Hey, this is something new I'm trying out here on the channel in which I discuss a topic in a relatively short video format. Not quite a video essay in terms of length or factuality, more so just opinions I splice together and put out. The current working title is Chunder Chats, of which this will be the first video in the series. I'm not sure how frequent these will be, but if I'm pondering a topic long enough, I'll likely gather my thoughts into a similar type of video. Other than that, I hope these are enjoyable to anyone who comes across them, and with that, let's get into the first Chunder Chats. We are currently in the run-up for the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and with the announcements of Kristen Bell as Amy Rose as well as the beginning of filming, I've been thinking of what direction these next few movies could take. If you were present in the online space back when the first movie was announced, you'll likely remember the atrocious-looking Sonic and how this project looked doomed to follow the trend of video game adaptation hell and fall completely flat on its face. However, here we stand 6 years on from the first movie's release, missing an ugly Sonic, and things couldn't be better for this franchise. They've taken on board what fans have to say and their wishes for each of these installments, in turn netting $1 billion combined. You're welcome, executives. Now if you could stop pushing a right-wing agenda and capturing all the media, that'd be great. That's neither here or there, this isn't a politics channel. No, instead I wanted to give my thoughts on where at least the next 3 projects of this franchise could go. These are not necessarily predictions, as I'm not looking to set up disappointment. I'm just a silly YouTube channel, and at the end of the day, these decisions ultimately fall to the studio in charge. What I am going to do is give these thoughts that I've had for a little while a space on my channel that I will come back to and compare with the series as they roll out new movies or shows over the years. Before we get into that, I just want to make clear that these are my opinions. In no way do you have to agree with what I would like to see. Maybe you want to see other games get adapted before the ones I will reference here. And if you have your own thoughts about what you'd like to see happen, leave them in the comments. That's right, YouTube engagement farming. We're leveling up the game here at Chunder Industries. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Okay, so for Sonic 4, I believe we need a completely Sonado-based story. I think it goes something like, "Hey, Shadow, you think Tom will find us in the shit?" I can't keep that up. If it's not clear, I'm joking. Now, we know by the looks of what we've seen in the mid-credit scene in Sonic 3, we're likely getting an adaptation of Sonic CD, a great game that could make a great movie. I've seen theories that Sonic and Amy will be travelling through time to stop an alternate Dr. Robotnik, which I think is a great way to bring him back from the events of the last movie without ruining what felt like a pretty solid ending for the first iteration of Robotnik, all the while incorporating the different pasts and futures from Sonic CD. That starts my idea's basis. I could see a battle that Sonic has where he's fighting something. Could be Metal Sonic, could be Eggman in some sort of creation of his, who knows. Either way, this battle takes place as they're moving rapidly through good futures, good past, bad past, you get the idea. There's plenty of grounds for references for a sequence like this, seeing many game stages and locations. There's plenty of grounds for references for a sequence like this, seeing many game stages and locations from past games, but I'd really like to see Crisis City. It could be a little longer of a fight in Crisis City before moving along, but the audience that knows this location will recognize it. Other than that, the movie goes through the motions, wraps up its story, and we get the credits. Here's where my ideas start to differentiate. We can get an either mid or post-credit scene in which we see the battle through Crisis City take place from afar, and we find out the view we're seeing from is Silver's. Silver comes from Crisis City and is his future in Sonic 06, a divisive and known low point of the series. This can be a great way to re-establish elements from that story and improve on what we were given back in that game. Just be sure to leave out, all that. But before a Sonic 06 adaptation, there have been reports of a title separate from the mainline Sonic the Hedgehog series, just as we got a Knuckles spin-off show. I think this spin-off could be a great opportunity to continue Shadow's story in the form of an adaptation of Shadow 05. I've seen 1 or 2 people online say that they could pair Shadow with Randall, which I love the idea of. If Sonic and Knuckles get a respective human companion, then I think Shadow and Randall would make sense. Shadow working with a gun agent this early after being hunted by them will make for such an interesting dynamic as they learn to trust each other and start to work as a team. Especially when it comes to the pair handling Black Doom, if that's what they're going for. Shadow unlocking more and more knowledge of his past and Gerald's shady dealings with the alien, and dealing with that together. Maybe Randall has some backstory to drop to relate to Shadow in some way. You don't need to make Shadow break down in tears or spill his guts. That's not his style. But having them find some common ground and a silent understanding is enough. This can turn an uneasy partnership into true friendship through the course of a feature film, if handled correctly. Once the Shadow spin-off has taken place, I think it's a pretty good setup into Sonic 5, where a Sonic 06 adaptation can finally be paid off from the credit scene of Sonic 4, and with Shadow furthering his skill and trust in humanity during his standalone movie. I believe this would be a great opportunity to bring in the world-threatening events of Sonic 06 and Iblis. Though Iblis has been mentioned before through the Knuckles show, so who knows, it may be some other threat, I don't know. Maybe this threat could be Chaos, bringing in a story from the Adventure series and mashing it with Silver's Destroyed Future storyline. Though Crisis City is a burning pile of rubble, so it probably wouldn't make sense for his character to be behind the destruction in the city. Either they'd have to change Crisis City entirely, or use another villain. You could bring in a few more characters in this installment to help combat whatever it is they're facing, and eventually Silver will go from a misguided hero to ally of Team Sonic and Shadow. From there, you could do adaptations of Sonic heroes, introducing characters like the Chaotix and so on. But I said I was doing 3 movies here, so that's a bit further than what we're thinking of right now. Either way, this would be an idea I'd love to see executed in the series over the coming years. Maybe this happens, maybe it doesn't. Hell, maybe the series could take a completely different direction before reaching this type of story, but personally I see great opportunity to set up the next few installments of this franchise in Sonic 4. In the end, these are just my opinions, as I said at the start. Either you agree or you don't, but one thing I'm certain of is that the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is in a pretty good spot right now, both with the games and other media. There's plenty of opportunity for this continuing upward trend we've been seeing over the last few years. This has been a neat Chunder chat session. Session? Session. This has been a neat Chunder chat This has been a neat Chunder chat session. Fuck, that doesn't sound right. This has been a neat Chunder chat Fuck off! This has been a neat Chunder oh, fuck me. Grew. Stop it, Grew. This has been a neat Chunder chat session, and I hope this has been as enjoyable to explore with me as it has been thinking of these ideas. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be pitching these ideas to Jeff Fowler. Yes, hello, Jeff? Oh, that's great. What do you think of my ideas? What do you think of the pitch? What? What do you mean you're adapting Sonic Rumble? There's not even a mainline story there!